This is a video about 2.1 cognitive patterns, hypothesis, and proof. So we often say, I believe that something is true, or I'm sure that something is true. But very often this means I have the hypothesis. I think it's true. I hope it should be true, maybe. And I have some evidence. So some proof. The question is it true? Is this proof really a proof that is valid, that is scientifically valid, or is it just a hint? So some evidence, some examples that it could be true, that it maybe is true, that it probably is true, but are you sure? Can you be sure of it? Like a prediction, very often we have hypotheses about the future. So this is a prediction, but we have seen that very often this is not true. Often, whatever often means, but it's not sure. So when we are using generalizations, especially about the future, we hopefully could use the term hypothesis. And what are the indicators we are having? And when we talk to each other, it would be fair, transparent to share with each other. So this is my hypothesis. And these are the indicators, the reasons why I think this could be true. And now what would be a really rational way, a transparent, fair way to treat hypothesis? Would it be to collect evidence to support this hypothesis? Well, this would be a very human approach, right? So we hope that it's true, and therefore we are looking for evidence. If we are transparent and a bit scientific, and a bit like Sir Karl Popper, he would recommend to look for evidence to change, to falsify, to topple this belief. So we could at least ask the questions, what kind of evidence would falsify our hypothesis? What would need to be true to change this hypothesis? And if we have this idea of this element that would change this hypothesis, then we could go and look, be brave and go and look for this potential evidence. And if you have been looking seriously and didn't find anything, okay, it's a good indicator maybe that our hypothesis may be really true. Hypotheses are helpful, of course, so it's not that I'm saying hypotheses are not true, you cannot prove it, and therefore they're not helpful. I think hypotheses are very helpful. But it could be that we have more than one hypothesis in parallel beside each other, and some of them could be true at the same time, and it could be helpful to hold them in the air beside each other and say, okay, so we think A could be true and B could be true. And these are the indicators for these two different hypotheses. And this evidence would kind of falsify them. So hold these potential truths floating in the air beside each other. That could be helpful for tackling complex questions.